Hey guys, it's Ryan here from Explained, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be watching an action thriller movie titled Wanted, which was released back in 2008. The plot of the film centers on a depressed account manager, Wesley Gibson, who turns into an assassin with the help of a very talented group of assassins called Fraternity. Wesley discovers that his murdered father belonged to a secret society of assassins, so he sharpens his innate killing skills to become part of the fraternity. So let's get started. Turn on the subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts with a prologue explaining a clan of weavers that formed a secret society of assassins 1,000 years ago. They silently carried out executions to restore peace in a world that was full of chaos. These assassins later named their group Fraternity, which still exists to this day. 6 weeks prior to the start of the film, we see a frustrated account manager, Wesley Gibson, attending a birthday party of his arrogant and grumpy boss, Janice. He seems too sick and tired with his life as his live-in girlfriend cheats on him with his co-worker and best friend Barry. His father abandoned him and his mother when he was a 7-day-old baby, so life overall has been really tough for Wesley. The scene cuts and we see a stern-looking middle-aged man entering a skyscraper. He meets a woman there and hands her a bullet, asking how the owner of it had acquired it. As the woman checks the bullet, she's shot on her head and dies on the spot. The man turns to reveal that the construction crew on the parallel buildings are with weapons, preparing to fire directly into the building. He races as far back of the hallway, opens the elevator and sits in a crouching position. Then he starts sprinting forward as the camera distorts to the sound of a pulsing heartbeat. At this point, he flies so quickly down the lobby that when he breaks through the window, he takes off over the chasm and onto the other side, killing all of the assassins present on the roof. As he thinks he's managed to escape his death, he gets a phone call from a man who tells him that the men on the roof were just decoys. As the man on the phone bids farewell, the man in the suit notices that he's standing on top of an X, and all of a sudden, a bullet bursts right into his forehead. The force of the bullet is shown, which is shot by a man sitting casually with a sniper rifle miles away. His name is Cross. Next we see Wesley heading off to his office early in the morning. As he walks out of his building, he stares pointedly at the very window that Cross shot from. Fed up from his life, Wesley arrives in the office where Janice oppressively asks him to prepare the billing report. He looks over to Barry's desk, who is again on leave due to his dentist appointment, but actually he's just having sex with Wesley's girlfriend in Wesley's apartment. Wesley feels extremely stressed when Janice scolds him to get to work. He turns red and starts having a panic attack, so he gulps a handful of his antidepressant pills. He complains about the monotony of his days as he gets denied of the cash withdrawal at the ATM, which you're broke. He walks to a pharmacy located in the grocery store to get his medication. There he spots Cross staring at him from the corner. Just as he turns around, he's faced with a beautiful woman standing close to him. Her name is Fox, and she tells Wesley that his father was murdered the day before on top of a metropolitan building by a killer named Cross, and that his father was the greatest assassin who ever lived. Wesley uncomfortably laughs until Fox further reveals that his father's killer is right behind him. Pulling the gun out, she shoves Wesley down and shooting begins. Wesley starts to panic as he tries to grasp what's going on. Fox shoves Wesley down and shoots back at Cross. What follows is a tense 10-minute action sequence, going from a shootout at the grocery store to a high-speed car chase down the streets of Chicago. Cars go flying, windows break, and there's Wesley within the passenger side of it all, characteristically freezing. Fox heroically manages to rescue Wesley and escape from there. The next morning, Wesley wakes up in a dark and dirty warehouse. As he tries to walk out of it, he's faced by Fox and other assassins. Since Wesley's a simple man, he flips out seeing scary people with weapons in their hands. The head of the assassins, Sloan, asks him to shoot the wings off of the fly or else he'll be killed. He unwillingly takes the gun and points it at the fly. Whilst panicking, Wesley shoots all the flies one by one. Wesley then grabs his anti-anxiety pills from his pocket, but Sloan snatches them away and dumps them. Sloan tells Wesley that he's not having a panic attack. Instead, his heart rate has increased to extraordinary levels of 400 beats per minute, which slowed the world around him and got him able to shoot the wings off the fly. Sloan tells him that he's blessed with superhuman powers of strength and speed, just like his father. Turns out Sloan has brought Wesley to kill the murderer of his father, who's Cross. Wesley refuses to do so as he thinks he's too weak for it, or he has no business being a killer. Sloan reveals to him that his father, as well as Cross, were members of the fraternity. He also tells him that he has transferred all of his father's assets over to his bank account. Listening to all of this, Wesley freaks out and escapes from there, pointing a gun at all of the assassins. The next morning, he wakes up at his apartment with his girlfriend next to him, thinking that he had a nightmare. Soon he spots a gun on his bathroom floor and realizes that it wasn't a dream at all. He quickly places the gun in his flush tank and rushes to the nearby ATM to check his bank account. He discovers that he actually inherited his father's assets to the tune of $3.6 million. He withdraws some of the cash and arrives at his office in a remarkably good mood. His friend Barry is a bit shocked to see him all pepped up. Just as Wesley's reading the article about his father's murder on the rooftop, Janice bursts at Wesley, asking him about the billing reports. Wesley's unable to hold his anger, so he insults Janice in front of the whole office. While walking out of the office, he picks up his keyboard and smashes it on Barry's face. He comes out of his building and takes a sigh of relief. Just then, he freaks out seeing images of himself in the newspaper. Across the street, Fox waits for him in her car and chauffeurs him to the fraternity headquarters, which is a textile mill. Sloan plans to train Wesley to properly harness all the skills he inherited from his father, so he'll be able to kill Cross. Fox leads Wesley to a room with a chair where a mysterious man named the Repairman ties Wesley down and promptly beats him. His training is started. He's cut, stabbed, beaten, and is kept in a wax bath to recover. This sequence keeps happening until Wesley truly masters all of the skills of a deadly assassin. Meanwhile, Cross has been taking out members of the fraternity one by one. A montage of hard training goes round, and he's asked to shoot a curving bullet, which he could not do no matter how much he tried. Fox stands in front of the target and tells Wesley that in order to hit the target beside me, you have to curve the bullet or I'll die. Wesley finally makes a curve and the scene changes. Sloan finally decides that Wesley's ready for his first assignment and gives him a paper containing the name of the target, Robert Dean Darden, to be killed. The name is obtained from the loom of fate, which has served for 1,000 years in giving coded names of fraternity targets through errors in the fabric. The woven cloth shows a secret code in the binary, which only Sloan is able to translate into the name of the target. Sloan tells Wesley that the names are fixed, and in order to maintain balance in the world, they must execute those names who's written on the fabric. Wesley goes on his first assassination, but then he starts to question the validity of the loop and whether or not the target deserves to die. Then Wesley is told a story of a young girl whose father was burned alive in front of her by a target because a fraternity member like Wesley did not pull the trigger when they needed to. Fox then tells Wesley about the slogan of the fraternity, kill one life and possibly save thousands of lives. After hearing the story, Wesley finally kills his target without any hesitation. Wesley now carries out every task Sloan assigns him. One after the other, he kills them all like a professional assassin. One evening, he returns to his apartment along with Fox to take the gun he kept in the flush tank earlier. Upon reaching, he finds Barry with his girlfriend, and so he bangs the door at Barry's face and takes the gun. Just then, Fox kisses Wesley in the sexiest possible way to show Wesley's ex-girlfriend who was more of a loser in their relationship. That night, he unexpectedly spots Cross across the street and runs after him, but Cross manages to escape before he can catch him. During the shootout, Wesley accidentally shoots and kills the exterminator, a fraternity member who he's befriended, and himself gets shot on his shoulder. After recovering from the gunshot, Wesley analyzes the bullet used by Cross that pierced his shoulder. He discovers the maker of the bullet is Pewarski, who lives in eastern Moravia. Wesley can't wait to get revenge for his father's death, so Sloan finally assigns Wesley the name of the target, Cross. Fox thinks that Wesley's no match for Cross and asks permission for Sloan to help Wesley. But then surprisingly, Sloan secretly gives Fox a mission to kill Wesley, saying that his name has come up in the loom. Wesley starts to search for information about the whereabouts of Cross. He then immediately heads to Pewarski's place to find information on Cross's whereabouts. Fox and Wesley capture Pewarski, who arranges a meeting with Cross. Wesley finds Cross alone on a moving train. Fox chases the train in a car and crashes into the train, causing a derailment. A long 10-minute sequence of shootout follows while the train plunges into the ravine. Wesley hangs from the train and is about to fall. Just then, Cross saves him from falling by grabbing his hand. However, Wesley takes the opportunity and shoots at Cross, mortally wounding him, but Cross pulls him back up. Finally, Cross is shot, and before dying, he reveals a quite surprising truth. He tells Wesley that he is the real father of Wesley and that the fraternity has tricked him. Wesley is astonished to hear this, so he questions Fox about it. Fox tells him everything that Cross said is true. Fox confesses that the reason Wesley was recruited into the fraternity was that he was the only person Cross wouldn't kill because he was his real son. Fox then tells Wesley about the next target, which is Wesley himself, and points a gun at him. When Wesley's about to be executed, he escapes by shooting the glass beneath him and plunges into the river along with Cross's body. The scene cuts to Wesley waking up in a bathtub of an apartment. Turns out it's the same apartment that was across the street from where Wesley used to live, and what saved him was Pequarski, who was a friend of Cross. Pequarski tells Wesley that Cross really loved his son. He always watched and guarded Wesley from afar and didn't want Wesley to join the fraternity. He wanted a violence-free life for his son. Pequarski then hands him a piece of woven cloth and asks Wesley to decipher the code on it. It's the same cloth that Sloan used to interpret from the Loom of Fate. Wesley interprets the name on the cloth as Sloan. Turns out the name Sloan had appeared a long time ago, but he didn't tell the members of the fraternity about it. From then onward, Sloan manipulated the names that would come out of the Loom of Fate weaving machine and made his assassins kill them for his own gain. Cross later discovered the truth and decided to stand up for it. Fearing he might get caught, Sloan turned all of the fraternity members against Cross and started the mission to get him killed. Cross then started to kill members of the fraternity led by Sloan and wanted to keep his son safe. Wesley finally realizes that Cross had never tried to kill him in their first meeting. Instead, he tried to keep Wesley away from Fox. In the next encounter with Cross, he had killed a member of the fraternity to keep him away from his son. Pequarski gives Wesley a plane ticket to go to a safe place with him, so Wesley decides to do so and walks into his father's closet to wear his jacket. Just then, he discovers a secret room behind the closet full of weapons and ammunition. Meanwhile, Fox returns to the headquarters all sad since she is unsuccessful in completing her mission of executing Wesley. On the other hand, Wesley decides to dump the plane ticket and prefers to take revenge on all the members of the fraternity who tricked him. In the secret room, he finds out a full strategized plan devised by his father to kill Sloan using the explosive rats. So he heads to his local grocery store to buy dozens of bottles of peanut butter. He goes to a dumpster and lays peanut butter everywhere to trap hundreds of mice, a tactic that he learned from the exterminator. He gathers the mice in a garbage truck and heads to the fraternity headquarters. Everyone awaits to shoot him as he drives inside the textile mill. The shootout starts and Wesley quickly releases thousands of explosive rats into the mill. Within a minute, all the explosive rats blast, killing the members of the fraternity and destroying the mill. Since Wesley is very well trained, he even carries out a massive massacre by shooting out bullets. Finally, he enters Sloan's office where he's surrounded by Fox and the remaining assassins. He reveals the true colors of Sloan by showing them the piece of cloth from the Loom of Fate containing Sloan's name. He tells Fox and the others that his father wasn't a traitor. Fox questions Sloan about it and he reveals the names of those present there had also come up a long time ago, but he kept it a secret to protect them. Sloan gives the members a choice, which is either kill themselves according to the Loom or kill Wesley to save their own lives. The members chose to save their lives and kill Wesley, except for Fox, who chooses to obey the Loom code. She curves a bullet around the room, killing all the members of the fraternity, including herself, whilst throwing her gun at Wesley. In the chaos, Sloan somehow manages to bolt. After Wesley destroys the fraternity headquarters, he returns to living a normal life as an account manager. His bank account is wiped out by Sloan, leaving Wesley bankrupt once again. Sloan arrives at Wesley's office to kill him, but he's stunned to see a decoy. He instantly notices that he's standing upon an X. All of a sudden, Wesley shoots and kills Sloan with a sniper rifle sitting casually from Cross's apartment miles away. And that's how the movie ends. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment your thoughts down below on the movie. And before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more movie recaps.